We are surrounded by different types of people. Some have green eyes while some have brown, some have pointed noses while others have flat, some have pale skin while others have darker skin. In society, race has become a way to define our differences. Many believe that race is a biological concept, however, there is actually no genetic basis that corresponds with any particular race. Let's break it down by taking a look into our DNA. Deoxyribonucleic acid is a set of instructions that tells cells what to do. DNA is found in all cells, the tiny compartments that make up all living things. DNA is made of genes that are made of nucleotides. There are 4 nucleotides that make up the DNA structure. They're represented in the letters A for adenine, G for guanine, C for cytosine, and T for thymine. Think of DNA as a how-to book. The different chapters represent different genes. The words in the book are written using A's, G's, C's, and T's. These letters are the bases that are grouped together in different ways to communicate a specific task or form different words. Scientists can sequence our DNA or read our how-to book, meaning that they can determine the order of the bases in our DNA. Our unique sequences tell scientists about the kind of genetic information required to produce a specific protein, a protein that will carry out a particular function within our cells. When we talk about how DNA is put together, we refer to genetics and how genes are passed down from parent to child. Every human has 46 chromosomes, a string-like structure of nucleic acids and protein found in our cells that carry genetic information. Every child gets 23 chromosomes from their biological mother and 23 from their biological father. The genes that are passed down from their parents determines the child's genotypes, an organism's genetic makeup that determines the phenotypes, the physical traits. Unfortunately, it's easy to stereotype by judging a person's physical appearance. But have you ever wondered if there is a gene for race? In 2001, the Human Genome Project, a U.S. federal government effort together with Asuro Genomics, finally completed its goal of mapping the genes in sequence of the entire human genome, a set of chromosomes in each cell of a human. This allowed scientists to begin comparing our genomes, making it finally possible to examine human ancestry with genetics. With the discoveries of the Human Genome Project, New Zealand health researchers found that the gene NF1, believed to protect people from becoming alcoholics, is commonly found in the DNA of the Maori people, but not in the DNA of Europeans. Yet they found that alcoholism is actually more common among Maori people. Stanford scientists have examined how alleles, which are different versions of the same gene, are spread throughout 7 geographical regions. The researchers found that over 92% of the 4,000 alleles they studied were present in over 1,000 people from all 7 geographical regions. The observation that people from different regions shared the same alleles proved the similarity of all people around the world. If separate races did exist, researchers would have found alleles that only exist in one group and not in any other group. As it turns out, scientists say that the human species is so evolutionarily young and our ancestors migrated so randomly hundreds of years ago that humanity did not divide itself into genetically different groups. Head of the Asuro Genomics Corporation says, "We all evolved in the last 100,000 years from the same small number of tribes that migrated out of Africa and colonized the world." In the biological and social sciences, the answer is clear. Race is a social construct, not something determined by genetics, since researchers have not found a gene that determines race. Human populations certainly show genetic differences across geographical regions, but this does not necessarily mean that distinct races actually exist in humans. In 1972, scientists discovered gene modification, the process of changing the genetic makeup and the sequence of DNA using technology. DNA sequences can be changed since DNA is an adaptable molecule, and thus, people can alter a person's genes and physical traits before birth. This process is known as creating a designer baby. Most bioethicists believe that restrictions for designer baby technology should not involve its use to detect and prevent disease, but should prevent the technology from being used for socially admired physical or aesthetic traits to prevent genetic discrimination. The knowledge that a race gene does not exist could also prevent discrimination we experience today. For example, since the Black inmate population grew by 69% from 2001 to 2015 in Canada, a presumption that they are genetically predisposed to crime could arise. Humanity's history of racism reminds us that a mere 0.1% of variation in our genome has been enough to discriminate against other people. The genome contains powerful answers about our biology that could unite us as a species. Really, there is only one race, the human race.